Single dad saw young men harassing a woman. Seconds later, the street went silent. The CEO and the single dad. After hours, after heartbreak, Marcus Rivera had learned to navigate the world with quiet precision. At 34, the single father of a 7-year-old daughter had perfected the art of blending into the background. Head down, shoulders squared, always moving with purpose. Tonight was no different. He'd just picked up Emma's favorite cupcakes from the bakery on Fifth Avenue, the pink box tucked carefully under his arm as he made his way toward the subway station. The February evening had that particular New York chill that bit through even the thickest jacket. Marcus pulled his hoodie tighter, his breath forming small clouds in the air. He was already mentally calculating the timing: subway, home, dinner, homework, bedtime story, then maybe an hour to himself before collapsing into bed and doing it all over again tomorrow. That's when he heard it. "Come on, beautiful, don't be like that." Marcus's stride faltered. Ahead, under the glow of a street lamp, a woman in a stunning blue dress stood frozen, surrounded by 4 young men who'd formed a loose circle around her. Even from 30 feet away, Marcus could see the tension in her shoulders, the way she held her clutch purse like a shield. "We just want to talk," another voice called out, mocking and insistent. Every instinct Marcus had developed over 7 years of single parenthood screamed at him to keep walking. Emma was waiting. He couldn't afford to get involved, to risk anything that might leave his daughter without her only parent. The rational part of his brain cataloged all the reasons to mind his own business. But then he thought of Emma. He thought of the world she was growing up in, the kind of men he wanted her to encounter, or not encounter, as she grew older. Marcus stopped walking. "Hey," he called out, his voice cutting through the evening air with surprising authority. "Is there a problem here?" The 4 young men turned, their expressions shifting from predatory amusement to irritation. They were in their early 20s, dressed in expensive streetwear, the kind of guys who'd probably never heard the word no that mattered. The woman's head snapped toward him. Even in the dim light, Marcus could see her face clearly now, striking features, blonde hair that caught the streetlight, and eyes that held equal parts relief and wariness. She didn't look like someone who needed rescuing often. In fact, everything about her screamed confidence and control. Everything except this moment. "Who the hell are you?" the tallest of the group demanded, taking a step toward Marcus. Marcus didn't move. He'd learned something important in his years as a single father. Confidence wasn't about size or aggression. It was about certainty. And right now he was certain he wasn't leaving. "I'm someone who's going to stand right here," Marcus said evenly, "until the lady feels comfortable walking away. The lady and I are having a conversation," another one said, his voice dripping with false charm. "Why don't you mind your business?" "Funny thing," Marcus replied, shifting the cupcake box to his other arm. "I don't think she's interested in that conversation." The woman found her voice then, and it surprised everyone. It was clear, commanding, utterly composed, the kind of voice used to boardrooms and difficult negotiations. "He's right, I'm not, so I'd appreciate it if you'd let me pass." "See, she's playing hard to get," the first guy said, but his swagger was fading. The street around them had grown quieter. A few other pedestrians had stopped, pulling out phones. The young men noticed. Marcus took one step forward, just one. But something in his posture, the squared shoulders, the steady gaze, the absolute lack of fear, made the entire dynamic shift. "Here's what's going to happen," Marcus said quietly. "You're going to walk that way." He nodded toward the opposite direction. "She's going to walk this way. And we're all going to go home and forget this happened." For a moment, the tension stretched so tight it could snap. The street had indeed gone silent, everyone waiting to see what would happen next. Then the tallest one scoffed, trying to save face. "Whatever, man. She wasn't that hot anyway." They left, their bravado crumbling into muttered curses and backward glances. Marcus didn't watch them go. He kept his eyes on the woman, making sure she was okay. When they were finally alone, well, as alone as anyone could be on a New York street, she released a breath she'd been holding. "Thank you," she said, and her voice was softer now, more genuine. "I'm usually better at handling situations like that." "I'm sure you are," Marcus said, "but sometimes it helps to have backup." She studied him with sharp, intelligent eyes, and Marcus suddenly felt self-conscious in his worn hoodie and jeans, holding a box of cupcakes with cartoon unicorns on it. "I'm Victoria," she said, extending her hand. "Victoria Ashford." Marcus blinked. Victoria Ashford, CEO of Ashford Technologies, one of the fastest-growing tech companies in the country. He'd read about her in magazines Emma's pediatrician kept in the waiting room. Forbes, Fortune, Time. "Marcus," he said, shaking her hand. "Marcus Rivera." "Well, Marcus Rivera, you probably just saved me from a very unpleasant evening." She glanced down at the cupcake box and a small smile played at her lips. "Birthday?" "Just Tuesday," Marcus said. "My daughter's favorite. How old?" 7. Victoria's smile grew. "The age of glitter and unicorns?" "And very strong opinions about which Disney princess is the best. Let me guess. Moana?" "How'd you know? She's the only one who doesn't need a prince," Victoria said. There was something in her voice, a note of approval, or maybe recognition. They stood there for a moment, the city moving around them, and Marcus realized he should probably go. Emma was waiting. But something about this woman, standing in her evening gown in the middle of a Tuesday night, made him curious. "Were you coming from somewhere?" he asked. Victoria's expression flickered. "Charity gala. Left early. Couldn't stand another minute of small talk and fake smiles." She paused. "That probably sounds ungrateful. It sounds honest." She looked at him then, really looked at him, and Marcus felt something shift in the air between them. "Can I buy you a coffee?" Victoria asked suddenly. "As a thank you?" Marcus should have said no. He had a daughter waiting at his sister's apartment, homework to supervise, a bedtime routine that couldn't be disrupted. He should have politely declined, gone home, and forgotten about the beautiful CEO in the blue dress. "Sure," he heard himself say, "but it's got to be quick. I need to pick up my daughter." They found a small coffee shop 2 blocks away, the kind of place that stayed open late for artists and insomniacs. Victoria looked gloriously out of place in her gown, but she didn't seem to care. She ordered a black coffee. Marcus got a hot chocolate. Emma's influence. "So," Victoria said, settling into the worn leather booth across from him. "Single dad?" 3 years now, Marcus said. Her mom passed away. Cancer. "I'm sorry, thank you." Marcus had gotten good at this part of the conversation, the gentle acknowledgement that moved things forward without dwelling. "What about you? Kids?" "No, never married, never really had time." Victoria wrapped her hands around her coffee cup. "I built my company from scratch, took every hour I had. By the time I looked up, I was 36 and everyone I knew was on their second marriage or third kid. Sounds lonely. It is." She said it simply, without self-pity. "But it's the choice I made. I don't regret it. Much." They talked for 45 minutes. Marcus learned that Victoria had started Ashford Technologies in her garage 7 years ago, that she'd grown up in a small town in Ohio, that she loved terrible reality TV shows but would never admit it publicly. Victoria learned that Marcus was a freelance graphic designer, that he'd met his late wife in college, that his daughter Emma was obsessed with space and wanted to be an astronaut. "I should go," Marcus finally said, glancing at his phone. His sister had texted twice. "Of course." Victoria stood, suddenly looking uncertain in a way that didn't match her reputation. "Marcus, this sounds crazy, but would you want to have dinner sometime? A real dinner?" Marcus hesitated. He hadn't been on a date since Sarah died. Hadn't wanted to. Hadn't had time. Hadn't met anyone who made him want to try. "I come with baggage," he warned. "A 7-year-old who needs to be picked up from school and help with math homework and—" "I run a billion-dollar company," Victoria interrupted with a smile. "I think I can handle complicated schedules." Marcus found himself smiling back. "Okay, dinner." They exchanged numbers. As Marcus left the coffee shop, cupcake box once again under his arm. He felt something he hadn't felt in years, possibility. Behind him, Victoria watched through the window as he disappeared into the New York night. She touched her phone, where his number glowed on the screen, and allowed herself a small smile. For the first time in years, the corner office didn't seem like enough. 1 week later, Marcus was 5 minutes late picking up Emma from school, which in his world was basically a catastrophe. He rounded the corner at a near run, already forming apologies, when he saw his daughter sitting on the school steps. She wasn't alone. A woman in an elegant business suit sat beside her, both of them looking at something on a tablet. Emma was laughing, pointing at the screen, completely absorbed. Marcus stopped dead. Victoria Ashford looked up and smiled. "Hi," she said simply. "Hi," Marcus managed. Emma jumped up. "Daddy! Miss Victoria showed me pictures from the International Space Station, real ones from NASA. Your daughter mentioned she wanted to be an astronaut," Victoria explained, standing. "I have a friend at NASA. She sent me some exclusive footage." Marcus stared at her, this woman who ran a technology empire, sitting on elementary school steps because she happened to be passing by and saw his daughter waiting. "How did you—" "I might have asked your sister which school," Victoria admitted. "I hope that's not creepy. I wanted to see you again. And I thought, since I was in the neighborhood—" "You're never in this neighborhood," Marcus said. "No," Victoria agreed. "I'm not." Emma tugged on Marcus's jacket. "Can Miss Victoria have dinner with us? Please?" Marcus looked at Victoria. Victoria looked back, something hopeful and vulnerable in her eyes. "We're having spaghetti," Marcus said. "Emma likes to help make it. It's messy, the kitchen's small, and she'll probably ask you 1,000 questions about space." "Perfect," Victoria said softly. And for the first time in 3 years, Marcus felt his heart fully open again. After hours, after heartbreak, maybe, just maybe, there was room for something new.